But yes, you touched on a good subject there, David, and I'm in complete agreement with you. It was a horrendous program. It should not have been aired the way it was. Trevor Noah, he, was tasked with an impossible situation as an MC. I did watch the opening of the program. As an MC, he knew he had a difficult hill to climb, and he did okay with that. But the rest of the show was just completely went to hell as far as I'm concerned.
Well, as you know, I couldn't agree more. You heard my feelings on it. And with that being said, I think it's time for us to move on to some good music. And our first guest is standing by, Canadian artist by the name of Suzi Kory. I know you're going to love her. You're going to listen to one of her tunes right now. This from a few months ago called Pretty Little Things.
Started out a young girl, a little bit shy. Sparkle of hope in my daddy's eyes. If you really want something, you might as well try. Keep your feet on the ground, girl, don't get your hopes high. They gonna drag you down, better get right up. Push a little harder when you've had enough. 'Cause the dust gets going when the going gets tough. All the pretty little things that your mama never taught you. Found out on your own when you took the risk you had to. Taking on the world, just too much inside of you. Pretty little things. Whenever years come by, got a little off track. You think you're right off the road, driving down the wrong path. Blinded by the headlights, coming to a crash. You gotta turn it all around to find your way back. Well, just forget about the past, 'cause the story starts now. Living in the moment, gonna show 'em how to make a dream come true. Gotta shout it out loud. All the pretty little things that your mama never taught you. Found out on your own when you took the risk you had to. Taking on the world, just too much inside of you. Pretty little things. Well, just forget about the past, 'cause the story starts now. Living in the moment, gonna show 'em how to make a dream come true. Gotta shout it out loud. Come on, show 'em what you're made of. All the pretty little things that your mama never taught you. Found out on your own when you took the risk you had to. Taking on the world, just too much inside of you. Pretty little things. Pretty, pretty, pretty little things. Pretty, pretty, pretty little things. Pretty, pretty, pretty little things.
And there you have it. Pretty Little Things by a pretty little thing from Canada who calls herself Suzi Kory. And if that's not offensive, come on in and say hello, Suzi. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Dave?
Doing well now that you laughed, because in today's society, everything offends somebody, and I sure wouldn't want to offend one of our guests. Thank you so much. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you. Let me make it very easy for you. I'm not offended by anything, if that makes any sense. So I think I'm an anomaly in today's society.
I'm good. To a good degree, you are. However, keep in mind, and I try to keep this in mind too, in this business, if you get offended easily, you're in trouble.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that you have to look at the source and where it's coming from and just, be objective about it. So
Yeah, I
think
know.
we all need to chill a little.
Yeah, exactly. We need to lighten up. And
Yes.
as I used to tell my kids, stop being a whiny ass. I mean, come on, people.
That's another way of putting it.
If you're, something is going to offend everybody. If this doesn't offend you, it'll offend somebody else. If you're offended, ignore it. Go away. Don't read it. Don't listen to it. Just don't shove it down my throat that it bothers you. Come on now.
Absolutely.
All right. Anyway, we're here for good times and good things. And I heard I heard one or two of your tunes here. I don't know, a month and a half ago. And I said that this is an artist we need to get on the show. And thankfully, you agreed to do so. You're here, and we want to learn a little bit more about you. So why don't you tell the audience, many of whom may not be familiar with you, tell them a little bit about you, your background, how you got to where you are today.
Sure. I'll try and give you the Reader's Digest version because I think we got a limited amount of time. But
we don't have unlimited, that's it for sure.
Yeah, I'm a country rock artist from Toronto. I started out a little more rock than country, but just naturally, organically changed to country. I was working with a producer down in Los Angeles, and this guy's a big rock guy. He's worked with a lot of bands like Kiss and Motley Crue and all these different people. And I'm thinking, okay, great, I'm going to have an awesome rock album. But when I started working with him, he did what every great producer should do, which is to insist that you find your own sound, even as you can to yourself. And when I did that, I ended up realizing I actually go closer to country than I do rock. And, the whole rock thing was just because I'm a huge fan of rock music. And, yeah, you're trying to put on that persona and emulate all the artists that you admire and that you like. But sometimes the music that you listen to isn't necessarily the music that you need to be creating. And
right.
That's when I realized that country was my thing, and I'm loving it.
Well, I can relate because when I was younger, I had this dream of being a rock star too, and my thing was I had wannabe producers who kept telling me, "You have a great voice for silent film," Or no, that wasn't it. I'm sorry. You have a great singing voice for the silence. I could not sing, so that's how I got on the other side of the microphone and became a music player instead of a music singer. And here we are today. John Bon Jovial, you're sitting there very quietly. I know you must have comments or questions.
Well, sure, absolutely. Suzi, first of all, welcome to the show. We are so thrilled that you're with us.
Thank you.
And I love the music. I just think it's great. We're talking about radio and getting, our starts. I got my start in radio back around 1971, and I started off doing country music. And,
wow.
And actually, most of the jockeying that I did over the years, I did some rock, but country music was the thing that I found myself getting into. It wasn't planned. And so I really do believe that I've developed an ear for what is good and what is not. And Pretty Little Things, to me, has such an upbeat and happy sound to it. And it's not, my mama died rescuing the dog because the pickup truck went into the river. And, of course, yes, there is certainly a place for that with George Jones and David Allan Coe and all those guys. But you really bring along a very nice commercial-sounding pop country flavor. And it's really nice to hear that. And I'm not, blowing smoke just to try to be nice. I really do mean that.
I'm kidding.
I have my moments. I do have my moments.
She's got your number, John.
Yes,
I don't mind. Blow as much smoke as you have to. No, I really want to say I appreciate you saying that because I think, it goes back to what I said just a moment ago about my producer insisting on finding my own sound and just being honest with who I am and what you're putting out there. And I think that's what shows. So, when you name those older artists, when they're singing about stuff that, just breaks the heart and it's a difficult life and all these things that they've been through, they live that. And so they're being true to who they are. And for me to sing these kind of songs, although, it sounds commercially great, I think the intention is not to do that. For me, the intention is to write happy songs because I'm a happy person and I want to make people feel good, and so what I write about is what I know. And this is me. And anybody who knows me knows I'm just like just look at my social media. You'll see me smiling in every single picture. It was hard to find a picture for Time because that song is, a little bit more serious, and it's a serious matter. I couldn't find a picture of myself where I wasn't smiling. Finally found one.
I can relate to what you were just saying because I found the first time I spoke with you on the phone, I had that feeling, that subconscious feeling that you were smiling and happy and real positive and upbeat. And it's good. It's good that you can transmit this feeling, that you can get it across to other people, both in your personal life, but also in your music. And that's a great thing. And you're able to, you realize the fact that this is a good thing and you can utilize it. You can write the songs that fit you and you can carry them, you can pull them off. And that's a great combination. That's a good recipe for success in this business, or any business for that matter. As long as you can be yourself and make the most of that, it's a good thing. I just wanted to inject that little bit there. Now, you probably haven't been doing a lot of live performances. I know you've got one coming up as we speak now, and this is being recorded on St. Patrick's Day, actually. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you. And,
thank you. You too.
Just wondered, I know, as I said, you've got one show coming up. What have you got planned for the rest of the year? Are you going to be getting back into more live performances? Are you going to be writing more music, or have you done pretty much all you're going to do with that during the hiatus, during the pandemic sidelining?
Yeah, although a lot of artists are saying that sometimes it's difficult to find avenues of what to do right now, I think you can create those opportunities. And definitely, the first and easiest thing is to work on your craft. So that's been something I've been doing. I wrote a lot of music and I've recorded some of it. I'm hoping to get back out to LA where my producer is to record a couple more songs that I'm supposed to put out this year. But as far as live performances are going, yes, I do have one coming up right now very shortly. And I have some other stuff in the works. And one of them being last summer, I put on a festival, a drive-in country music festival, and I had several artists on that one, including myself. I did one here in Canada, and then I did one down in Tennessee. So I'm hoping to do the same, and we're hoping to do that again this summer and maybe add a couple more cities. So definitely a lot of stuff in the works, even when it comes to live music. Whatever we have to work with, I think we just work around that, and make it happen.
Well, we have a thing here on the show where once you're on our show, you're part of our family. We like to keep in touch. We like you to keep in touch with us. Let us know where you are, what you're doing, new things that are coming up. And to that end, one of my social media pages on Facebook is a groups page, the David Bowers Awards groups page. And that is there specifically for guests on the show and for anybody involved in the music industry, for that matter, to post their own happenings, music related, of course, shows, new releases, anything you want to share with your fans and followers. And you can do that yourself. You don't have to come to me to do it. You can post directly to that, and we will take it and post it around to our other social media sites. And before we run out of time, I did have one other thing I wanted to touch on, because I know that you made what you considered to you a life-changing decision a few years ago. And I wondered if you would share that story with the listeners.
Sure. So, the other thing that I do other than music is I kind of accidentally got into motivational speaking. And the reason that happened is because when I was a child, I knew I wanted to be a performer. And my parents, who are amazing, incredible, supportive people, the one thing they said is, we don't want you getting into the music industry. And so, I took a completely different path in life, and I'm talking like completely different. I, ended up getting married, having children, which is normal. And then I moved to the Middle East for 13 years. And I worked, learned Arabic, you name it, just completely different than what I had imagined for myself. All amazing experiences and don't regret any of it. But I worked my way up the corporate ladder, and I realized my other passion was travel. So I became a station manager for a major airline out there in the Middle East. Then came back about 6 years ago, back to North America, back to my hometown, Toronto, where I grew up. And that's when that passion for music started again. I started going to concerts, and I remembered how much I loved this and how much I wanted to do this. And
it's an incredible story, really.
Yeah, it was literally 4 years ago that I made the decision to start getting into music, and I started writing songs, and I was starting from zero. I had no connections in the industry. I didn't have any musical experience. I'd never been really on stage.
You did.
Thank you. I'm glad I did.
it seems to be working out well for you, because what I've heard of what you produce is excellent, and well, it got you on the show, so it couldn't be all bad.